So when I came back after construction, we came back under like a broker model.
Okay.
And so we did that for a couple years. And it was just so hard to grow there.
Okay.
I did well. I had, really good success. The year I stopped as a broker, I think I finished at like 248,000 AP on my own pen.
Okay.
But
wow,
you couldn't grow.
Right.
It's just too hard to grow out there. It's because, you have all the different carriers that you have to underwrite for. So you have to teach new agents, everybody's underwriting.
Yeah.
It's a lot for them on top
That must
of
be a little intimidating, you think?
It's very intimidating. And then you have your leads aspect of it. We're always dealing with different vendors, and we're responsible for our own leads and trying to figure out, how to get those leads. Then the leads, your vendor has a problem, they change the way they do things, and then your leads dry up, and then so you're kind of stuck. It's just, there's a whole lot of problems out there in the broker space to try and grow. And so we started searching around for, different opportunities that's going to help us scale and get to where we want to be. And so Senior Life kind of just hit all those boxes for us. And
okay.
So we decided to.
Welcome, Senior Life family, to the All Fired Up podcast. I'm your host, Will Voorhees, and today I'm joined by Travis of the Trady Group. Travis, how we doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. For anybody that hasn't seen you yet on social media or any other aspects, just kind of tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into the industry.
So I got into the industry actually pretty young, at an early age. I think I was 21 when I first started.
Okay.
And I did that for probably about 9 months. But I was a young guy, and I had a little success early.
Okay.
And so I made some money, but I also made some young guy mistakes.
Totally understand.
Started taking time off. I was golfing and not really hitting it hard like I should have. So then you just kind of go through some of the struggles. You have some down weeks, a down month, and I didn't run my business correctly, so I didn't have anything to fall back on to help get me through so I could keep going. And so I just kind of walked myself right out of the business here.
Okay.
But then I spent the next 9 years doing construction.
Okay.
And we traveled a lot with that job. We were in and out of hotels, living in hotels, working 50, 60, 70 hours a week.
Right.
The whole time I was thinking every day about, where I started under my uncle, and I watched him just grow every day, week after week, year after year, and I was sitting, living in hotels away from family.
Breaking back.
Yep. And so it just ate at me for 9 years. And then finally 3 years ago, I decided, I just got to get back into it and really give it my all. I know if I could come out here and work the way I had been working for someone else and work for myself, that I know that I could make insurance work. Plus, just too many people I was surrounded by were, having great success.
Right.
And so I just watched them, and I know what I am capable of. And so I just had to get back into it here. And so we did, and I've hit the ground running and haven't looked back.
Awesome, man. So I kind of want to unpack something on the beginning of that story. You said you were 21 when you came into the industry. I know a lot of people don't grow up wanting to be insurance salesmen.
Right.
So what attracted you to the opportunity or the position, I guess?
So coming out of high school, I'd always thought about like landscaping and owning a landscaping company. I went to school for landscape design.
Okay.
I never finished, and so then I was just kind of in and out of different jobs, landscaping or construction. But it was just time for me to make something more of myself, do something better. It wasn't getting the job done. I couldn't see the end goal for my life in that.
I gotcha.
And so I had my uncle in the industry, and so I'd watched him, and he'd started having some success, and so he gave me an opportunity, and I figured I'd take it.
Okay. So that kind of answered my second question too about what made you jump to construction, but you'd kind of already had some background in the landscaping construction side of things.
Yeah, for sure.
So my next question would be, how did you get introduced to Senior Life in particular?
Well, so when I came back after construction, we came back under like a broker model.
Okay.
And so we did that for a couple years, and it was just so hard to grow there.
Okay.
I did well. I had really good success. The year I stopped as a broker, I think I finished at like 248,000 AP on my own pen.
Okay.
but
Wow.
you couldn't grow. And
Right.
it's just too hard to grow out there. It's because, you have all the different carriers that you have to underwrite for. So you have to teach new agents, everybody's underwriting.
Yeah.
It's a lot for them on
That
top
must be a
of
little intimidating, you
it
think.
is. It's very intimidating. And then you have your leads aspect of it. We're always dealing with different vendors, and we're responsible for our own leads and trying to figure out, how to get those leads. Then the leads, your vendor has a problem. They change the way they do things, and then your leads dry up, and then so you're kind of stuck. It's just, there's a whole lot of problems out there in the broker space to try and grow. And so we started searching around for, different opportunities that's going to help us scale and get to where we want to be. And so Senior Life kind of just hit all those boxes for us. And
Okay.
so we decided to.
So how was that initial
over and check it out.
transition coming from the broker model
Um,
to, the specific product? I know that probably it's different at least.
it is different. I never really had a problem with it.
Okay.
I really liked just having the one carrier. Actually, it just made it's just easier.
Yeah.
We can write Ultimate Preferred down to GI, and so we can help everybody. So I don't need all those carriers. Plus the product that we have with our insurance with Legacy, nobody else has that. So it was
Yeah.
easy. I have a product to sell. I have something that I'm actually able to help them, families with, other than just insurance coverage.
Right.
And
It's
so
it's an
I
easier
love
sell
that.
when you
Yes.
believe in it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So y'all's group and your culture, it's outstanding. I mean, kind of tell me about what it's like for a new agent coming into your group, and what they can expect.
Our culture is great. We focus heavily on that, on our culture and our training. So as a new agent coming in, they can kind of expect a couple things. We like to get them trained up. We have some videos speaking on Legacy, some training videos for Senior Life and how all of that works. And so we want them to spend the first week kind of at home going through contracting. And while they're going through contracting, we want them learning, the basics. Then we come in, and my partner Andy Caldwell has actually put on a nice class we've been working on and kind of fine-tuning. And so, like I said, the first week they'll do contracting and kind of study on their own. Then they come into a class on Friday, and we kind of go over the ins and outs of Senior Life, the agent portal, obviously the door knock, the script, what Legacy does, and how we use Legacy and Senior Life as a whole package
Okay.
to solve problems. It's what we do. And so we get them a quick rundown on that on Fridays, and then that very next week, new agents will hop in the car with a senior manager. And so
Okay.
somebody who's very successful, been here, and proven themselves, know what they're doing. And so that next week, they'll do a full week of ride along with the manager. We'll have the new agent take 20 leads. The manager will take 20 leads, and we just go out and run, have a good time. We'll set all our appointments, and then we'll run those appointments, and they get to see, exactly how we do.
Okay.
And the main thing that I really love and what we've really kind of got into is having them take that week ahead of time to kind of learn on their own and learn Legacy and learn the script and learn what Senior Life does. It's a big thing for us because it changes your training so much. A lot of times you'll have agents that don't know any of that. They come into training and they do ride-alongs and stuff. And that whole week, they're just kind of
Having to figure out everything.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Their head's spinning. So they're in the house and they're hearing you present and watching you do all this stuff. But it's so much information that their head's kind of spinning. They don't get to slow down and like pick it out.
And analyze. Yeah.
Right. And
Okay.
so when you go into it that way without any kind of study beforehand, you're just basically all week learning, trying to memorize what your upline is saying to these people.
Right.
Whereas with us having them learn ahead of time, go through that class, now they come in, they know the door knock, they know the presentation, they know what Legacy does. And so they already know all that. So now they get to actually, it slows down for them in their head in the room. And so now they get to hear how we ask questions the way we ask them, why we ask those questions. And then we can kind of talk about that afterwards. And so it changes the training to, here's how I use our product as a whole. Here's how we use it to solve problems. Here's how you figure out how Legacy is going to fix certain problems for them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a whole different style. It's a whole different training when the new agent has done their part before before it comes time to training.
I think it's big with like just from a confidence and just a knowledge perspective of just having that confidence to come and sell.
Yeah.
Because you actually know what you're talking about. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you come in fresh and just analyzing somebody else pitching it, it's a little bit harder to pick up on those things.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested to hear about the appointment setting part of that. What's y'all's like? Do you take a certain day out of the week to call these people and set appointments? Do you door knock? How does that go?
So initially, with our new agents, we like to set the appointments by door knocking.
Okay.
It's just easier. I think you learn a lot face to face with people before you kind of get into the phones. We do want you to then kind of, learn and once you get comfortable with it, hop on the phone to set appointments. It's just going to make life easier for you. But initially, we are really big on setting appointments on Monday. And so we'll pull all of our leads. So say I take an agent out, I'm going to take 20 leads. The agent will take 20 leads. We'll mix them together and we go run those. And so Monday, we will go hit all 40 doors. Just literally drive door to door. We route them out, and we're going to hit all of them on Monday just to set appointments for Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
Now, what I like to do is I like to fill up my schedule on Tuesday first, and so I will set my appointments starting at 10 a.m., and I'll set an appointment every hour on the hour till 6 or 7 for Tuesday, and then I'll move in to start filling up Wednesday. If I can. Obviously, there's going to be some people that things are going on. They can't do it Tuesday, so you go ahead and I'll let them have a Wednesday. But I don't schedule for Thursday, Friday. It's just too far away. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So you want to fill up your first 2 days. So then Tuesday and Wednesday, you're not out door knocking and doing all that stuff. You know what you're doing. You've filled up your schedule. It makes it a lot easier. So you just go run those appointments. If you have somebody that blows you off, somebody, they forgot about you, you get a break, you have a gap in your schedule, then you take your leads and you go door knock again. For the people you didn't get a hold of Monday, you go door knock again and fill up, when the rest of Wednesday if you need to, and then you start filling up Thursday. And so you just kind of run that constant cycle there, and it just fills up your schedule, and it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
I've done it both ways. The first 2 years in this business for me, I never set appointments. Really? Never. Yep. I was so against it. If they told me I couldn't get through the door that day, and they were like, "Oh no, come back here tomorrow or come back Thursday," I would ask them so many questions just to try to annoy them enough that they will either give me all the answers give me all the answers I want and say, yeah, they're still going to be here, but really I'm trying to annoy them enough so that they will just say, you know what, I'm actually not even interested, and and I think I'm just doing my job at that point. Like, okay, yep. Yeah. Kind of how I guess, appointments are always a bad thing. You just wanted to get through the door.
It seems like they're putting you off.
Right.
In a sense. And, in a younger mind, I totally understand that. And, trying to close them on the first point of contact.
Right.
And I read a book by Frank Betcher, I can't remember how you say the last name, but basically he said he would basically get a majority of his deals with the second and third follow-ups. So I think that's really cool. And so that system and that cycle, I'm sure you've seen a lot of people grow.
Yes.
And kind of just tell me what it's like to see people take that first step and then how their life is changed after that.
So you take that first step and you trust that system, and you have to be dedicated and disciplined to that system. Or whatever system you're going to run in this world. If you're not dedicated, motivation isn't going to get you there. You don't always feel motivated to go out to work, and so that's where you have your problems, where you don't really stick to the system. You like the system, but this motivation's not there on Thursday or Friday. Then you just whatever excuse you take off of work. So you have to be disciplined to just go to work. Say, I'm a new agent. My first 6 months of this, I'm going to work this schedule every week. No excuses. It doesn't matter what pops up. And if you can come into this business as a new agent and be disciplined enough and dedicated enough to have that plan, 6 months, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to put my all into it. Those are the people that find a lot of great success and get that jump start right out of the gate. And so I love seeing that when people come in and do that and trust the process, and they can see the success right out of the gate like that. It's an awesome thing.
Awesome, man. And talking about kind of motivation and discipline, what would what keeps you disciplined, or what I guess would be your why, or what keeps you going?
What keeps me going would just be knowing where I came from, knowing that I had done this at a young age,
Okay.
failed out of it, and then I spent the next 9 years living in a hotel and watching
Right.
other people continue in this business and grow to where they are now, uh, and knowing that that I can do that. I'm capable of pretty much anything I want to do in this world. I can do it, and I feel that about myself. And so I think that's what drives me. Just knowing those 9 years, I was like, I gotta, do whatever it takes. I can't keep working this hard to make someone else, rich.
Right.
You know what I mean? I need to be out here working for myself and doing that.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me going.
Awesome,
is just
man.
looking back on those 9 years.
Yeah. And so, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any thanks? Anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. So that speaking of is my uncle, and it's kind of what has pushed me through this whole thing and this whole process. And I told him last night, he's blazed a trail, and I'm just following it, and I appreciate everything he's done. I also my manager and brother-in-law here, Andy Caldwell, appreciate him and everything he's done. And yeah, there's a whole long list.
Yeah.
My wife, she's supported me when I decided I was going to leave my construction job. I was doing pretty well for myself,
Yeah.
but I knew what that life looked like for us as a family. Me being gone, I was going to be able to support her and my family, but I wasn't going to be able to be there
Yeah, miss
for
the
all
football games,
right,
all
yeah,
that.
all the important stuff. I wouldn't be there, and so her allowing me to kind of to trust that I can do it, and saying,
that's
hey,
big.
yeah, I got you. Go ahead and let's do this, and we'll figure it out. And so yeah.
Awesome. So, how can people get in touch with you? How can we find the Tradie Group?
So I'm kind of everywhere. So Instagram, my handle is TMA4.
Okay.
On Facebook, you can look me up, the Tradie Group. YouTube, I just started a YouTube, and so YouTube is my name, Travis Amsbaugh.
Okay.
I think that's it. So email is amsbaugh.t@gmail.com.
Okay. Awesome. And I just want to thank you for joining us, man. I love seeing everything your group's doing. And I just want to thank everybody watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and join us next week for another All Fired Up.
Fire up.